My ex-wife wanted me to raise another man's son. Most divorces happen because people stopped loving each other. This one happened for the exact opposite reason. According to one man, he loved his wife enough to let her go because she wanted children, and he didn't. It wasn't a fight, it wasn't a betrayal, it wasn't cheating, just two people who wanted completely different futures. So they divorced, went their separate ways, and spent the next 16 years building separate lives. Then, one afternoon, his ex-wife called. At first, he thought she wanted closure, maybe an apology, maybe a chance to catch up. Instead, she asked him to do something so unbelievable that he genuinely thought she was joking. She wanted him to help raise another man's child. According to the man, he never hated children, not even a little. He just never wanted any. That was all. For as long as he could remember, he had a vision for his future, a quiet future, a financially secure future, a future built around freedom, travel, retirement, hobbies, a simple life. Children never fit into that picture, and according to him, he was completely okay with that. The problem was that his wife changed her mind. Not suddenly, not overnight, gradually, over several years. At first, the signs were subtle. Comments about babies, comments about family, comments about the future. Nothing major, just enough to make him wonder. Then the comments became conversations. Then the conversations became discussions. Then the discussions became reality. One evening, he finally asked her directly, "Do you want kids?" According to him, the answer came immediately. Yes, very much yes. And that was the moment everything changed. Because he already knew his answer. No. Just as strongly, just as honestly. According to the man, the conversation lasted hours. Neither person was angry. Neither person was wrong. Neither person was trying to hurt the other. They simply wanted different lives. And unfortunately, love doesn't solve that problem. Not always. The harder they talked, the clearer it became. Nobody was changing their mind. Nobody was compromising. Nobody was giving in. Because children aren't a compromise. You either have them or you don't. According to the man, he spent weeks thinking about it. Then months, trying to find another solution, trying to find another path, trying to save the marriage. But every road led to the same place, resentment. One of them would always lose. One of them would always regret it. Eventually, he made the hardest decision of his life. He asked for a divorce. According to him, his wife was devastated. She begged him to reconsider, asked for more time, asked him to think about it, asked him to imagine a different future. But his answer stayed the same because he loved her. And because he loved her, he didn't want her waking up at 50 years old hating him for taking motherhood away from her. So he let her go. By the way, if you enjoy relationship drama, shocking life stories, and unbelievable Reddit updates, make sure to subscribe. Because the divorce was only the beginning. The truly bizarre part of this story wouldn't happen for another 16 years. According to the man, the divorce took far longer than he expected. Not because of lawyers, not because of money, because neither of them wanted it. At least, not emotionally. The decision made sense. That didn't make it easier. His wife kept hoping he'd changed his mind. He kept hoping she'd change hers. Neither happened. Months turned into years. The divorce was finalized, and eventually, they stopped speaking. According to the man, that was probably for the best, because staying friends would have been difficult. Very difficult. Every conversation would have reopened old wounds. Every interaction would have raised old questions. Questions neither of them could answer. Life moved on, slowly at first, then faster. The man focused on work, focused on saving. Focused on building the future he'd always imagined. According to him, he dated occasionally. Nothing serious, nothing lasting, not for a long time. Then, everything changed. He met someone completely unexpected, someone who wanted the same things he wanted. A quiet life, financial freedom, travel, adventure, no children, no pressure, no compromises. According to the man, it felt easy. For the first time in years. The relationship grew, then grew some more. 4 years later, they were engaged. Life was good, really good. The future finally felt settled, predictable, comfortable. Then his phone rang. A number he didn't recognize. Normally, he would have ignored it for some reason, he answered. According to the man, the voice instantly caught him off guard because he recognized it immediately. His ex-wife, the woman he hadn't spoken to in years. A lot of years, she sounded nervous, almost hesitant, which wasn't like her, not at all. The conversation started normally, very normally. Small talk, life updates, work, family. The usual things people discuss when they haven't spoken in forever. Then she asked a question, a simple question. Would he be willing to meet for coffee? According to the man, he wasn't sure. Not because he hated her, he didn't. Not because he was angry, he wasn't. But reopening old chapters can be dangerous. Very dangerous. Especially when you've finally moved on. He discussed it with his fiancée, who surprised him because she thought he should go. She said closure wasn't a bad thing. Sometimes it's healthy. Sometimes it's necessary. According to the man, that made sense. So he agreed. A week later, they met. A small coffee shop. Nothing fancy, nothing romantic, just two people reconnecting. At least that was the plan, according to the man. Seeing her again felt strange. Familiar, but distant, like looking at an old photograph. Something you recognize, something that matters, but something that belongs in the past. The conversation started well, surprisingly well. They talked about old friends, old memories, old experiences. For a while, it felt pleasant, comfortable even. Then she brought up her son. According to the man, that wasn't surprising. He knew she eventually became a mother. After all, that's what she'd always wanted. A family, a child, the life she chose. He asked how old her son was. 11. She smiled while talking about him proudly. Like any parent would, according to the man, he was genuinely happy for her. Because despite everything, she got what she wanted. Or at least that's what he thought. Then her expression changed. The smile faded. The excitement faded. Something was wrong. Very wrong. The man asked if everything was okay. She hesitated, looked down at her coffee, then admitted something. The boy's father wasn't around. Not anymore. According to her, he had been absent for years. The man felt sorry for the child. Any kid would struggle with that, but he wasn't sure why she was telling him. Then came the request that completely changed the meeting. The request that left him staring across the table in disbelief. His ex-wife took a deep breath, looked him directly in the eyes, and asked if he'd be willing to be a father figure to her son. Silence. Complete silence. According to the man, he honestly thought she was joking. She wasn't. Not even a little. She kept talking, explaining, justifying, building her case. The boy needed guidance. The boy needed stability. The boy needed a positive male role model. And apparently, she thought that person should be him. The man couldn't process it. Not immediately, because this wasn't his child. Not biologically, not legally, not emotionally. He had never even met the kid, never spoken to him, never seen him. Yet somehow, his ex-wife was acting as if this request made perfect sense. According to the man, that wasn't even the craziest part. Because moments later, she revealed what she really wanted. And suddenly, the coffee meeting became much, much worse. According to the man, he expected the conversation to end there. It didn't. Not even close. His ex-wife kept talking, and the more she talked, the worse things became. At first, she focused on her son, his future, his struggles, the challenges of raising him alone. The man listened politely, because despite everything, he genuinely felt sorry for the kid. None of this was the child's fault. Not even a little. Then the conversation shifted, subtly at first, almost imperceptibly. His ex-wife started talking about the past, their marriage, their relationship, the good years, the happy years. According to the man, that was when alarm bells started ringing because this no longer sounded like a conversation about her son. It sounded like something else, something much bigger. Then she asked him a question he never expected. Have you ever regretted it? The man frowned. Regretted what? The divorce? According to the man, he answered honestly, no, not because he hated her, not because he was happy it happened, but because it was necessary. The alternative would have been worse, much worse. His ex-wife looked disappointed, very disappointed, and that was when he finally understood. This meeting wasn't about closure. It wasn't about catching up. It wasn't even about her son. Not really. It was about him. She wanted something from him, something far bigger than advice. According to the man, the next sentence confirmed everything. She leaned forward, looked directly at him, and said she thought they could still be a family. Silence. Again. Complete silence. The man genuinely thought he'd misheard her. A family? After 16 years? After an entire marriage ended? After both of them built separate lives? Apparently, yes. According to her, they had unfinished business. According to her, they still loved each other. His fiancée, the woman he loved, the woman he planned to marry, the woman he'd spent years building a life with. According to the man, he shut the idea down immediately. Firmly, respectfully, but firmly. He told her he was happy. He told her he was engaged. He told her he wasn't interested. That should have ended the discussion. Instead, it started an argument. His ex-wife became emotional, then frustrated, then angry. Very angry. According to the man, the conversation became uncomfortable fast. She started criticizing his fiancée, insulting her, questioning her intentions, questioning the relationship, questioning everything. The man immediately stood up, because that was the line. You can say whatever you want about him, but leave his fiancée out of it. He paid for his coffee, said goodbye, and walked out. According to the man, he assumed that was the end. He was wrong. Very wrong. The messages started that night. Then more messages. Then even more. Calls, voicemails, long emotional texts. Some sad, some angry, some downright bizarre. Eventually, he blocked her. That should have solved the problem. It didn't, because a few days later, his fiancée received a message from his ex-wife. According to the man, that was when things crossed into crazy territory. His ex-wife accused him of cheating, lied about what happened during the coffee meeting, claimed he still loved her, claimed he wanted her back, claimed all sorts of things. None of them true. Fortunately, his fiancée didn't believe a word of it. She simply blocked the number. Problem solved, or so they thought, because the next person to get involved was his sister. And according to the man, that was when the situation became completely ridiculous. According to the man, he thought the situation couldn't get any stranger. He was wrong. Very wrong. A few days later, his fiancée called him. Not upset. Not crying, just confused. Extremely confused. She asked him a question, one he never expected to hear. Why does your sister think I'm a witch? Silence. Complete silence. The man genuinely thought she'd misspoken. A witch? An actual witch? According to his fiancée, his sister had shown up at her house unannounced, with children, without warning, without permission, and apparently with a mission. The mission being convincing her to leave him immediately. His fiancée couldn't believe it. Neither could he. According to his sister, the engagement was a mistake. The relationship was a mistake. Everything was a mistake. Because apparently, he belonged with his ex-wife. The man was stunned. Not just because it was ridiculous, because it made absolutely no sense. The divorce happened 16 years ago. 16 years. Most people would have moved on. Apparently, not his family. His sister continued explaining, or attempting to explain. The logic became stranger by the minute. According to his fiancée, his sister insisted she was taking advantage of him, using him, manipulating him, controlling him. Then came the weirdest accusation of all, the witch accusation. Apparently his fiancée collected rocks, pretty rocks, interesting rocks, normal hobby stuff. She also enjoyed yoga and scented candles. That was enough evidence. Somehow, according to his sister, those hobbies clearly proved she was casting spells. The man wished he was joking. He wasn't. His fiancée found the whole thing hilarious at first. Then it became annoying. Then it became concerning, because this wasn't random internet nonsense. This was family. His family. The people who were supposed to know him best. According to the man, that realization hurt. A lot, because the more he looked around, the more support his ex-wife seemed to have. Friends, relatives, acquaintances, people he'd known for years. Many of them shared the same opinion, that he should go back, that he should help raise the child, that he should become a family again. The man couldn't understand it because none of those people volunteered themselves. Not one, not a single person offered to help. Not a single person offered to step up. Not a single person offered their own time. Yet somehow, they were very comfortable volunteering his. The messages continued. Then MORE arrived. Then even more. Eventually, he reached a decision. A simple one. Block, block, block. According to the man, he started removing people from his life, one at a time. Anyone who wouldn't respect his decision. Anyone who wouldn't respect his relationship. Anyone who thought 16 years of separation meant nothing, including his sister, especially his sister. That one hurt, but not as much as keeping her around would have. According to the man, something became very clear during all this. His ex-wife never really accepted the divorce, not completely. She spent years believing he would eventually change his mind. Years believing life would somehow bring them back together. Years believing the story wasn't over. The problem was, the story was over. It had been over for a very long time. The man wasn't the same person anymore. Neither was she. 16 years changes people. It changes dreams. It changes priorities. It changes lives. And according to the man, the saddest part wasn't the drama. It wasn't the accusations. It wasn't the family pressure. It was the child. Because the child never asked for any of this. The child didn't choose an absent father. The child didn't choose the situation. The child didn't choose to become part of a fantasy. A fantasy where a man from 16 years ago would suddenly come back and fix everything. Life doesn't work that way. People don't work that way. And according to the man, the kindest thing he could do wasn't pretending to be the boy's father. It was being honest. Because pretending would have helped nobody. Not him, not his fiancée, not his ex-wife, and certainly not the child. So he moved forward with his fiancée, with his future, and with a much shorter contact list than he started with. But according to the man, it was worth every blocked number. Sometimes the hardest decisions in life aren't about choosing between right and wrong. They're about choosing between two different futures. And that's exactly what happened here. Years ago, two people loved each other. Maybe they still cared about each other. But they wanted completely different things. One wanted children, one didn't. Neither person was wrong. Neither person was selfish. They were simply incompatible. And as painful as it was, they made the difficult decision to go their separate ways. The strange part is that most people assume time fixes everything. That enough years can somehow rewrite the past. That eventually people will change their minds. That eventually they'll come back. But life doesn't work that way. 16 years passed. Entire lives were built. New relationships were formed. New dreams were created. And yet somehow one person was still holding on to a version of the future that no longer existed. The saddest part of this story isn't really the ex-wife. It's not the sister, it's not the family drama, it's the child, because none of this was his fault. He didn't ask for an absent father. He didn't ask to become the center of somebody else's unfinished love story. And he certainly didn't ask to become part of a plan. To recreate a marriage that ended over a decade ago. In the end, the man made the only decision he could make. He chose honesty. Not the easy honesty, the painful honesty. The kind of honesty that disappoints people. The kind that makes people angry. The kind that costs relationships. But sometimes that's still the right thing to do. Because pretending to be someone's father when you don't want to be helps nobody. Pretending to love someone when you've moved on helps nobody. Pretending the past can be recreated helps nobody. The truth might hurt, but false hope hurts a lot longer. And according to the man, that's a lesson he learned a long time ago. But what do you think? Was he right to walk away all those years ago? Or should he have tried to make the marriage work despite not wanting children? Let me know in the comments below. And if you enjoy relationship drama, Reddit stories, family conflicts, and unbelievable real-life situations, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.